All right, breaking now, Idalia now a major hurricane, a Category 3 hurricane with 120-mile-per-hour maximum sustained winds and continuing to gain strength as it barrels toward Florida's Big Bend. And a pressure drop, Todd, in the last report an hour ago of 13 millibars, down 945 millibars. Moving north now and slowing down 1 more mile per hour, 15 miles per hour with the center located 100 miles southwest of Cedar Key, Florida.
It's amazing that every one of those numbers you just mentioned is trending in the wrong direction, because not only did the pressure drop, and of course that corresponds with the stronger winds, but that moving north at 15 miles an hour, even if it's 1 mile an hour, that's slowing down. That is more energy that the sea surface temperature has, and that is more potential for the storm to increase in not only in strength, but we still have several hours before the potential landfall of this.
And usually a little lag between that pressure drop and the wind speeds to go up maybe even further. We've got to get to 130 to get to Category 4 strength, which the Hurricane Center is forecast.
And at this point, too, I mean, we're talking difference between 120 and 130 mile an hour winds. When you're talking about damage and you're talking about what could happen out of this, there's really not much of a difference at this point. I mean, we're a major hurricane.
Yeah, we just want to hope it doesn't get stronger than that. But, I mean, this is probably some of the best presentation we've seen in terms of, you know, the structure.
Absolutely, yes.
You know, through the whole life cycle of this hurricane.
And going back to when it first was being looked at, and even was in the Western Caribbean, there was a lot of jaggedness to this. It wasn't looking good. And then you had the warm sea surface water, but we had the shearing. We had the upper level, the upper level winds were shearing this thing apart. There's nothing stopping this now except for the forward motion and the land it's going to interact with.
Right, and you even got that little indentation in the Big Bend area, so it may actually spend a little bit more time over open, warm water with limited shear. There's not really too much that keeps it from getting weaker, that's for sure.
Exactly. Maybe because we have the mid-level trough, that's one of the reasons why we are going to be looking at that bend that's going to end up turning it. We have a mid-level trough that's going to help kick it a little bit more toward the Big Bend. But notice again, we still have that northerly direction. So it hasn't quite moved to the northeast yet.
It's kind of wiggled a little. You look at that longitude line, and it has been
look at that,
a little bit further away from it. And that turn may be beginning. We'll see what happens because we're getting hourly updates now. So that should be coming out next hour.
So again, now a major hurricane that has now just been issued by the National Hurricane Center. So Idalia is starting to hone in on northern Florida, bringing life-threatening impacts that will be felt up and down Florida's Gulf Coast. Heavy rain, strong winds, strong storm surge expected all later on this morning. You look at the villages here in Florida, so that's well inland. You're talking closer to the Orlando area, but that doesn't mean that you're not going to be impacted by this as well. And also looking over to Gulfport. Now, we had this image up earlier, Ray, and notice on the far right side of the screen that actually is a volleyball court there. So this water is now has worked its way onto the beach. You can see in the foreground there looks to be some type of wall of some sort. This could either be a playground or something. But again, the water is now working its way on shore. That is part of the storm surge that is coming out of this as well.